Hello, Oakwood artist. It is Friday, June 12th. It is our 35th day of sketching together. Welcome back. I'm coming to you today from Bronte and Zoe's studio in my home. They're not in the house right now, and so I thought I'd take over their studio and use it because we're working with prompt number 8. Draw something you see out your window. So if I was looking out the windows I'm normally looking out, I'd see lots of trees. And trees are really wonderful to draw, but if I'm going to draw a tree, I want to be up closer to it, or I want to use my imagination. And we've been drawing some trees throughout our series, and we've got a forest coming up soon in the next couple of weeks. So today I thought I'd switch windows and I'd look into a flower bed outside of Bronte and Zoe's studio and draw an iris that is blooming. It's really beautiful. It's purple, white, and yellow. In fact, there are two irises side by side blooming today. And Vincent van Gogh and Claude Monet both painted purple irises and did them very, very beautifully. So I'm going to try my hand today at an iris. I'm going to just use a lot of artistic freedom in terms of not paying attention to all the tall leaves that are there. If I had more time and if my paper were bigger, I would do something a little bit different. But today I'm just going to apply some of those leaves and do the best I can with the iris in our quick sketching series this morning. Now, if you want to do this prompt number 8, please go to our window, or maybe from where you're seated, take a look out your window, and what do you see? Do you see a bird feeder hanging in your window? Are there birds at it? Do you see traffic going by? Are you looking out on Mineral Point? Are there people walking to work? Is there someone sitting on a bench somewhere? Are you looking into Oakwood Resident Gardens? Can you see the patio from where you're sitting? What is it that you see? Or if you don't like that idea, think of a window that you once had in a home that you lived in, or a home that you grew up in. What would you see from your window? From my childhood home, I would see, I'd see a number of things because I lived in a number of childhood homes. One, I looked out over a neighborhood, and when I was about 9 years old, my younger sister, who was 6, she and I went 2 streets over to our neighbors who had a ceramic shop in her house, and for 3 years we did ceramics with her, and that was wonderful. Now, in those days, my mom and dad didn't have a lot of money, so at 9 I got a paper route, and my paper route paid for our ceramics classes every week and all of the ceramic sculptures we wanted to make. So that was really a wonderful time in my life, and also a really first introduction into what could a art studio be like in your home, and welcoming people into a studio where you created art and community. So that was one of the things I could see from my childhood windows in my home, is that ceramic studio. And then as I grew older and I turned 13, we moved to a farm. So outside of those windows, I could see some of our barns and some of our outbuildings, as well as our pasture and our cows. So, and a rock garden, a flower garden that I had put in with my mom. So what do you see out your window, or out one of your windows through life? Okay, so before we started filming here, I started my iris, and I'm going to watercolor it today. So you can see I started putting in the greens. So I'm going to ask you to get your supplies ready, whatever it is you need, whether you're working in pencil, colored pencil, pen, whatever you're going to grab, go ahead and grab it. Take a look out your window. If you're not sketching with us right now or making art with us right now, just think about when you do get to your sketchbook, what are you going to be working on? What are you going to create? Today I've grabbed my favorite watercolors. A reminder, if you haven't heard me say these, Target carries these. The brand is Handmade Modern. It's probably marketed for kids, but they are really a great set of watercolor. I have a lot of control with them. They have this nice little case that I can fit, when I say all of my brushes, that's how many brushes I fit into this little tiny case, plus one more that's still in there. So all of these brushes fit really nice and neatly into here. And then I have this little piece of wax paper that covers my paints when I'm through. So if you are in the market for a watercolor set, and you don't mind shopping at Target or ordering from Target, give these a try. I'm going to try to carry, when Target's a little more stocked, I'm going to try to carry some of these in our studio. So when you come in to paint, when the studios open back up and you come in to paint, or I come to you to do some art in the coming weeks, that we'll give these a try. We typically use a tray of watercolors, and it's time for us to replenish our watercolor supply. So I want to get a few of these to have on hand, to see if people like them. Okay, as I said, I'm going to just take some liberty in how these leaves look. I'm looking out now, the sun is really shining, and shining actually onto the leaves of the irises and also through them. Some of those blades of leaves, the light is actually coming through. So now, 5 minutes ago they looked different, but now they've got a lot of yellow in them where that light is hitting them and coming through. So now I'm going to add yellow to my leaves. So another thing is, please don't be frustrated if you see me using some supplies that you don't have. It's okay, whatever you have. Sometimes I only have a ballpoint pen, and that is really enough to make art. Sometimes I just have a newspaper. Well, I can make art out of a newspaper. I can tear that up and make some collage. Whatever you have, use it. And if that isn't enough, then let me know, and I will provide you with whatever you need, whether it's an eraser. Sometimes people will ask for an eraser, or a pencil. And one thing I know, I've given some of you colored pencils. Well, the thing about colored pencils is they don't stay sharpened very long, and we're really low on sharpeners, but I'm happy to bring a sharpener to you and sharpen all the pencils for you even. So let me know what you need, and if there's something we don't have, we'll try to order it. Or if you have the ability to do some online ordering, or have someone pick up some supplies for you if they're out shopping for you, please do that too. I wonder, as I'm painting this and looking out my window, what do you wish you could see out your window? I know some people are having family members and friends come to windows, and they're having visits through the windows. That's pretty awesome. I wish we could be doing that face to face and in person. But boy, if you're going to see something out your window, having a friend or a loved one out your window would be pretty nice. Okay, now I'm going to go into the iris. The iris right now also is very light in color. So I'm going to use my little wax paper here, and I'm going to mix some purples, and I'm going to mix some white with it because I want to try to get that purple much lighter. Yeah, that will be better. And these leaves of the iris look very papery today because of the way the light is hitting them. I suppose an iris always looks kind of papery anyways. So again, you know, I'm not taking a photograph here, and I did take a photograph of this iris this week because it was so beautiful. It is so beautiful. It was so beautiful when it was blooming. So if I want a photograph, I'll take a photograph. If I want a painting or a drawing, I'm just going to make it my own. So do what you want with your images. Really explore and have fun. And don't feel you have to make them look realistic by any means. You don't. Make them your own. I'm sure that's what Claude Monet and Vincent van Gogh did. Every time they returned to the canvas, that they made the image their own. One thing that I don't know if I've talked about it yet, but when we can get back together, I want to start an art club and have us meet outside and do some plein air, out in the open air, painting and drawing. So if you would be interested in joining an Oakwood resident art club, let me know. I think it would be really exciting. We'll start first at Oakwood, and then as we can explore other places, we'll take some mini field trips and get out and paint in nature. There's so many great places in our county of Dane County and also surrounding Dane County, other counties, to paint and see. But most importantly, just to get together and get to know each other. And bring those sketchbooks along so we can all take a look at what everyone's been creating. Because that, to me, is the most exciting thing. Just knowing you're creating and then the anticipation of seeing it. Like, what's going to be in that sketchbook when I might get to see what you've been working on. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up for today. Getting a little bit too much paint on my paintbrush. Getting a little bit messy here, so I'm gonna do some takeaway like I would with an eraser. I can do the same with watercolor, whether I were dabbing it or using my paintbrush. Okay, so this is really rough, as where I usually leave my images at the end of our series or session. So there's my iris. I'm going to keep working on it and get it a little bit more realistic and just add a little bit more color and texture to it. Okay, have a really wonderful day. Happy art making, and I'll see you again on Monday for our 36th day of sketching together. Have a great weekend.